So we're on the coastal road now that will take us into Orzola. I absolutely love this road. It's beautiful. You've got the volcanic rock on either side, you've got the ocean on your right. Over to the right now I can see the Roque del Este, and we're coming up to a section known as Caliton Blanco. Lovely white sandy beaches. It's a beautiful November day. Sorry about the car shouting at me there. It's a beautiful November day. It's still 29 degrees. It's 4:15 in the afternoon. The ocean is very, very calm today. You can see all these cars now where people are using the beaches here. The ocean's very calm today, but there's a kind of deep Atlantic swirl, so it's really good for surf at the moment, and that's why there's so many cars around. There's a few nice breaks off the reefs to my right now, and you'll see the waves with surfers on them coming up in a minute on the right hand side. So that's why there's so many cars around. Everyone's enjoying this surf, and you can see it's quite weird because there are no waves out to sea, but there's suddenly these big breaks coming in, and they're just beautiful. We used to cycle along here probably most days actually a few years ago when we were training for a sports event, and it's just fabulous. You get the smell of the ocean, the views around you, and so on. The weather this week has been absolutely epic. We had hot air drawn in from the Sahara by Tropical Storm Theta that passed to the north of us, and that's given us daytime temperatures in the 30s. As I say, it's still 29 and it's 4:15 in the afternoon, and it's just been like this day after day after day. We're extremely lucky to have this in November. Normally it would be probably 5 or 6 degrees cooler than this at least, and it's definitely a beach day. We went to Arieta Beach earlier, and it's busy, loads of people swimming and enjoying the weather there. So we're coming into Orzola, and for this week's video I'm going to show you the town of Orzola. It's the most northern point of Lanzarote, and it's a jumping off point for the ferries which travel to the island of La Graciosa. And there are two ferry lines. There's Lineas Romero, which is run by the Romero family, who own an awful lot of stuff in Orzola, and there's also the Vera Express. I'm just going to give these bikes a bit of room while I'm coming up to a blind crest. Just to reassure you, I'm not holding the camera, Julie's holding the camera, and I'm driving and talking, of course. Used a lot, as you can see, by cyclists because it's just a nice, flat, fast and not particularly busy road. The other side of that big cliff you can see in front of you are, of course, the Femora Cliffs. So we're at that sort of tip of Lanzarote where if you go over to the other side, you're on the Femora side, and it's the sort of pointy bit at the top of the island of Lanzarote as you look at a map. So I'm going to end this sequence now, but we'll get into Orzola in a minute and we'll show you a bit more of the town. So here's a quick tip for you when you're parking in Orzola. If you're going on the ferry, there are ferry company car parks. So if you're on the Vera Express ferry, you'll just look for a car park with their name. If you're on the Lineas Romero ferry, you'll look for a car park with that name. If you park in these areas which are marked blue, you're limited to, I'm just going to remind myself actually, 3 hours. Tiempo máximo 3 horas. So you're limited to 3 hours, and what you need to do, it's actually in English on there, it's mandatory to place a clock or paper where the arrival time is recorded. So just put a piece of paper on your dashboard saying what time you arrived, but don't stay beyond 3 hours in these blue marked spaces. If you need more than 3 hours, obviously you're likely to be going across to La Graciosa. And there in the distant centre frame now is the island of La Graciosa. So you can see how close we are. And then behind it, the island of Alegranza. And if I sweep round, we'll walk down now. You can see those waves I was talking about in the driving video. Julie's a bit worried that was a bit bumpy, but I'm going to leave it in anyway because I've just referred back to it. You can see those sort of deep swell waves. So where that little boat is, way out, it's dead calm. But suddenly inshore here, you've got this sort of interesting swell. We've had many a meal in Restaurante El Norte there. All of the restaurants here do fabulous fresh fish. It's a big Sunday destination, Sunday lunchtime. And there you can see in the harbour one of the Biosfera Express ferries. Looks like he's waiting to go. So you park in one of those marked car parks for the relevant ferry company, walk down here and you can buy your tickets. That building we're looking at centre frame right now is the ticket office on the right hand side of that. And we'll just walk round to the little harbour area. Looks like there's loads of fish going into these refrigerated vans. And there are the famous Aria taxis. The bus is in, that's just chased me down the road. So those are the ticket offices. And there's the ferry just waiting to go. And I'll just come up here and show you the harbour. Quite a bit of work been done on the harbour lately. Adding pontoons and more moorings. There it is, many fishing boats here. I think there are a couple of pleasure boats as well. And then we've got the restaurants there. Os Gallegos, Tapas Bar, Restaurante, Punta Farallones. Another one dead ahead there. And our favourite here is Las Moretas. Have I got that name right, Julie? Las Moretas? Oh, all right, I've not got it right. First one on the left as you come into the village. And this is the other ferry company. This is the Lineas Romero ferry. Just coming into dock. And the one we filmed earlier is on its way well out of the harbour now. They tend to pass each other coming in and out. I've always wondered if they're bitter rivals or good mates. I guess we'll never know. But they all seem to be very courteous to each other as they pass coming in and out of the harbour here in Orzola. Because of COVID, as you can see, the entrance to the ferry port is taped off and it's temperature controlled. So whereas previously we'd have been able to walk down there and watch this up close, if you like, there's security guards on there taking the temperature of everyone going in and making sure they've got us a ticket and therefore a reason to be there. So that's just swinging round and it's going to moor up. It's interesting that it's coming on this side. It isn't normally, I don't know why that is. And in the background there we can see a little fishing boat coming in from its day's work. This is the road out of Orzola, which goes up to Mirador del Rio and Aria. And I stopped here because this is Las Pardelas Park. And if you go to the Lanzarote information website, in fact we'll put the link onto the links page for you. Susanna's written an article about it. It's a lovely little place. You can go and pet the animals there, find out how they look after them, and definitely well worth visiting. And I'll just sweep round one final time. As you can see, very volcanic up here in the north. But it is old volcanoes here rather than the much newer ones from Timanfaya. These erupted thousands, hundreds and thousands of years ago. You can't see it from here, but in the distance there, as you go up the hill on the right, you'll see the Aloe Vera farm, which is well worth visiting. They've got a shop there where you can buy aloe vera products, and you can see all the aloe vera being grown. So that's it for this week for the newsletter from Orzola. Bye for now.